All right, everyone. We are back with another episode of Broke to Woke, and this is the one you're probably here for. We're talking about the deals, the first deals, the ones that got us started, the ones that could get you started. We're going to learn all about the good and the bad. You have this home. Planes are like inches above it.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Winner.
bought it. It cost $140,000. You were a waitress where?
Wild Wing Cafe.
Okay. And so you have, that's a W-2 at the time, or was it all salary?
Tips.
Tips. Okay, got it.
Salary is like $2.18.
Yeah, it wasn't
an hour.
great.
Yeah.
Wasn't great. So what was the down payment for this
It was
house? Do you remember?
2007. So they would lend to almost anybody. But I had to come up with $2,700,
Okay.
which was $1 trillion
Yeah.
to me. That was so much money. I barely made it, but I didn't borrow any dime. Parents did not help me out. At the end of the rockiest road, because of what was going on at the end of 2007, they were like, you're going to have a cosigner. I was like, no, because I tried to do this without telling my parents.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think they would approve.
Right.
And so I had to humble myself
Okay.
and ask my dad to cosign, which is,
That's hard.
well, they are not about cosigning anything. I mean, I bought my own car at 15 years old. Like,
Okay.
I bought all my own stuff. And so to ask them to do that, he gave me such a talking to, made me fill out all these spreadsheets about why it's going to financially make sense and how I can afford it, and really put me through the ringer.
Okay. Well, good job, Dad.
That was actually really smart.
Yeah. I was
Oh,
gonna say,
totally.
Okay.
You should totally do that. You can't
Yeah.
just sign. But they didn't give me any of the down payment, nothing.
They just co-signed it.
They co-signed.
Yeah, the
and
name's
so,
on the ink.
yep. And so that was helpful.
Okay.
And I was able to do it. But with that, I had this crazy pressure. Like,
Yes.
my dad actually believes in me
Yeah, that's a big deal.
enough to sign his name. I cannot screw this up.
Right.
And when you're entering 2008 and you own real estate, it's a real good time to try to screw it up.
Uh-huh. Now, because again, we don't know. You don't know 2008.
I had
You
no
don't know
idea.
what's happening.
And I don't watch TV.
Yep.
So I buy this house. I learn about flipping houses. College doesn't teach it. I'm not going to college.
No.
People aren't supportive. And I say there's got to be another way to learn it. So I found out that those We Buy Houses signs are real estate investors. And I didn't know any real estate investors. So I started calling them. I was like, hey, can I come work for you and learn from you?
Wait a minute. You see a sign on the road that says We Buy Houses.
Yeah.
There's a phone number on it. You just pick up that number and be like,
Yeah.
hey, bro.
Can I work for you for free? That's what I would offer. And they're like, get out of the market now. And I was like, that was weird.
That was a weird phone
That
call.
was so weird.
I was offering my jobs for free.
Well, they just were telling me not to get into real
see.
estate. And I was like, this doesn't make sense with the book I just read from Robert Kiyosaki saying that I can be a millionaire overnight.
Yeah.
And so every sign I called would scream like, this is horrible. I couldn't find anybody to teach me. And so
Wow.
I know it was terrible. And so I finally met this one guy that through a friend said, if you work for him, you'll learn how to flip houses. And I was
Yep.
like, okay, perfect. And he owned a lender, like he was a mortgage broker.
Yep.
And so he said, okay, become a loan officer. I was like, what's a loan officer? And
Oh, wow.
right. So I became a loan officer. I thought that was supposed
know
to,
that.
right? I thought that was on the path of learning how to flip houses. I'm going through the test. I'm like, this doesn't seem to make any sense. So I'm 18, a loan officer, and now 2008. Guess what happened in 2008 to mortgages?
It took a little bit of a poop.
Zero.
Poop volcano.
Zero for that whole almost year.
Yeah, you made nothing.
Went through.
Yeah.
And so I had been calculating how much money I was going to make. I was going to make like $10,000 in commissions.
No, you did not.
Living on my credit card until those things closed, and they never closed.
Oh, no.
So I was up to $35,000 in debt on
Okay.
these credit cards,
Okay.
which was crippling.
Stress.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So I ended up working at the Cheesecake Factory. And I would study 12 hours a day, any real estate book I could get my hands on. Again, everybody's telling me, you're going to be a loser. You're going to be working
Yeah.
4 jobs when you're 75.
Sure.
I am not proud of you. It was a horrible. And I'm just trying to stay strong and learn this for the orphans. And so
But
I
you
worked.
had a why.
Right.
that
I
was
had a
getting you
why.
through this.
So I'd work double shifts just to pay my mortgage because my dang roommates aren't paying. And I'm $35,000 in debt, and I'm reading everything I can get my hands on, and nothing was working.
So you're living in that house that you
I'm
bought.
living in the house.
Okay.
Though. I'm living in that house.
And you rent out some rooms, and
Yeah.
they're just not paying
They
you
were
rent.
not paying. I'm like, I live in the room next to you. I know.
Yeah, I see you not paying me.
I see. They're like hiding into the rooms. I'm like, I hear your music.
I know you're in there.
Come on. So.
That's classic.
Oh, it was really bad. So I felt like a complete failure.
Yeah.
Complete and utter failure. And I would sneak real estate books into my apron at the Cheesecake Factory and hide in the back and like, I gotta get out of here. And like, so there was this one day I had to make $350 in order to pay my mortgage.
Okay.
That was like the remaining balance left that I didn't have.
Do you remember how much the mortgage was in total on that house?
$997.
Yeah. Okay.
$997.
So you had some paid up. You had $350 left. When was it due? Like a day later?
It was the last day before it was on the credit report.
Got it.
And remember, it was going to go on Dad's credit report too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So I had great faith. You know, God is with me.
That's right.
I'm going to work a double, and God's going to show up miraculously.
Mm-hmm.
This amazing thing's going to happen. So I go into work. They give me the worst section. And after a 9-hour shift, I had made $7 in change. That's all. It was the worst day of my life. And I'm so mad in my waitressing career.
Because I was a waiter too. I know. That's not, $7 is rough.
I mean, I got stiff. I'm like, And so I threw up my hands at God and I said, and I had my little books in my apron. I said, God, why am I here? I am smarter than this. And this was one of the most profound moments of my life. I've only heard God a couple times. And this time I did. He said, because I want to bless you. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I shook the change in my pocket. I was like, whatever, God. And I go up to the host. I said, I had a really rough day. I have not even had a table in the last 2 hours. Please cut me. Send me home. And he's like, fine. Right as he said fine, and he goes to push the button to let me off my shift after I do all my side work,
Yep.
these 2 guys and a girl walk in. I said, never mind, give me that table. And he's like, it's not your turn. I was like, give me the table.
Oh, well,
For real.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so these 2 guys and a girl walk in, and they sit in this booth. And the guy the farthest away from me on the booth, on his wedding ring finger, had this ring. And it said, the Millionaires Club, and had a little logo of a house. And somehow I saw that ring. I mean, it's far.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, are y'all real estate investors? And they're like, well, yes, we are. It's like, I'm going to be a real estate investor someday.
Whoa.
And they look at me and they're like, really? You probably read Cosmo Girl magazine. And I was like, actually, I read Success magazine.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how sexist all these comments were till way later, but
Hey,
I did
hey.
not care.
Yeah.
So they said, oh, well, you're probably listening to Hanson on CD in your car. Hanson, by the way.
Hanson. Oh,
Boom,
man.
bop.
That was me listening to Hanson. What a band. They're back, by the way.
Are they?
They are back in
Thank
full force.
God.
thank the Lord.
2020 is going to be a good year after all.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my gosh. So I said, actually, I'm listening to Think and Grow Rich, the audiobook. And so they kept nailing me with these questions that they were like, oh, not believing in me. I was
A little bit of a test. They'll give you a little bit of a
20
test.
now.
Yeah.
So time had gone by, 2 years of complete failure.
Yeah.
Everything I had touched. And they were so impressed. They said, actually, we put on conferences and all these real estate investors come and speak and teach. If you want to be our guest, then we'd love to have you. And it was only because I was Miss North Carolina at the time, which we'll have to go into another time.
Yep.
They were like, you can be like a guest influencer. I said, okay. And so they flew me to Las Vegas on Mother's Day weekend and never hit on me once, which is crazy. I would never let my kid go to this, but whatever. But I took my brass knuckles and my pepper spray.
Whoa. Okay.
Brass knuckles got taken at the airport. Gosh. Anyway, so I go to Vegas and I'm sitting in a chair, and I remember I didn't even have $200 to my name. I'm so broke. I'm sitting in this chair, and this guy comes and sits next to me. He said, hey, can you move over? I want my my partner to sit next to me, da da da. So I scoot over and the conference starts and they said, okay, everybody look under your seats. The guy that I moved out of the chair pulled out a $10,000 diamond. And he's like, oh, I'll give it to my wife and make it an earring. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that would have changed my whole life.
Wow.
So I had learned over the 2 years of everything I had tried. I had done a multi-level marketing thing, again, studying everything I can in real estate, and a loan officer, nothing had worked. And I felt like a failure. Again, I don't watch TV. I didn't know there was a global economic meltdown. I thought it was just me.
Yeah.
But I had learned that no matter what's happening to you, to find a way to give first.
Okay.
And that was really hard because when you're financially stressed, all I felt like doing was finding a way to take and survive. Like, oh, I just got to make it. This thing has to close. I need them to buy this thing so that I can survive. And that desperate and like anxious like pushiness, until that had broken off of me and I found a way to truly bless someone without requiring anything back, I hadn't even had a real open door. So I learned to give first. And so I took, with the last available dollars on my credit card, the speakers out to dinner. And they're talking about their $18,000 watches and their Maseratis and da-da-da.
Yep.
And I'm like praying it goes through. I had learned to take them just so I could be around their mind. This was one of the smartest things I could do.
Huge.
I was a little 20-year-old now.
I hope you're all listening to this.
So
Here comes Woke.
at the end of the dinner,
It's coming.
I overheard a guy at the other end of the table that I had not really talked to before. He said, oh, I've got all these real estate deals stacking up on my desk. If only I had an assistant. I
Boom.
would teach this assistant everything about real estate
Bam.
and how to work these deals for me.
Here comes Woke.
I just need an assistant. And I was like, hello.
My name is Britnie Assistant Turner.
I am your girl.
Yeah.
I am your girl. And so he said, really? Well, you'd have to move to this place called Nashville
Ha! No way.
in the next 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
So weirdly on the side, I had been going through EMT training school so that I could be an EMT and learn how to save lives.
Sure.
And whenever we're not on call, I could learn real estate.
Okay.
I was 4 weeks away from graduating. And I was like, finish the thing I've always wanted to do and be in emergency medicine, or move to Nashville. So I pack up my house, shove everything in my car, kick my roommates out, put some guys in from Craigslist, and I'm off to Nashville. Everybody.
Whoa.
Supportive, right? No.
No one's going to support that.
You're
too.
an idiot.
Yeah.
It is 2009.
Why moving from home?
Who is this guy?
Yeah.
You're 8 hours away from family.
Yeah.
You don't know anybody up there. You're too young.
You don't have any money.
And I'm like, look, he is going to teach me. This is God. It's an open door. This is the thing I've been waiting for. It's going to work. So I move up there. I had accepted the job. $600 less than the minimums on my credit card. So I have to figure this out really quick.
Wow. Yeah.
And so that credit card debt is stressing me out.
Yep.
I don't know anybody. And I'm so glad that I've got these renters in there because they're at least going to cover my mortgage. Their first month's rent check bounces.
Nice.
And they do away with the job within 60 days of me moving to Nashville. So
Epic.
now I've got these guys in my house that I've got to evict,
wow.
doing drugs, doing all this stuff, but I'm believing their sob story.
Yeah. Of course.
Of course.
Wow.
I had never had tenants before.
No, this is your first one.
Oh. So I've got a mortgage payment, no money, all this credit card debt. Nobody wants to talk to me. I can't tell them that I don't have a job anymore.
No.
Because then I'm a quadruple failure.
What'd you do?
I moved into my car.
Here it comes.
That was it. That's where I'm going to end it for now.
Oh, yes. This is going to be good. I hope everyone's listening because, again, this is what this podcast is for, is to uncover these challenges that every entrepreneur, every business owner, every athlete, every profession or professional, doesn't matter if you're a chef or a cricket player, you're going to have these frustrating times to become. That's you're broke, and then you're getting to the part where you're becoming enlightened and you're becoming understanding and you're realizing. My big takeaway from that one is if you did not answer those people's questions correctly at the table.
Yeah.
If they're like, well, you're probably reading Cosmo, and you're like, yeah, I am. Or if they're like, you're probably listening to Hanson, and you're like, yeah, I am. That would have kind of been it. But you put yourself in that position to actually be ready for their questions. One of my things I like to live by, the old adage goes, it's all about who you know. But I think that's an old adage. I think it's all about who knows you. Right? Because it's all about who you know is fine, but if they know who you are, they can come and you can come into their mind and you can think through and you can give them ideas and you can give them beliefs and they can, you can inspire them or set you up for success.
I think it's another example also of there's really no such thing as luck. It's simply when opportunity meets preparedness.
Okay.
And had I not been prepared, like you're saying,
right, that wouldn't have happened. And you were at the restaurant and you were noticing, right? You were trying to be aware. You saw what he was wearing, but again, you had put in the time. You had the books in your apron. You were ready for this.
Ready.
So the preparedness has to come in at some point, and that's when that enlightenment starts to happen. That's when that growth starts to happen. So I think on the next episode, what we'll do is we'll talk about my transition as well in that stage, those early stages from that 18 to 20-ish, right? Because that's where you are. You're up at Nashville. You're living in your car. You're broke. So we're still on that journey to the woke portion of this.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening in on Broke to Woke. We are so excited about this podcast. If you're interested in doing this for yourself, good news, there's more. And if you want to connect to us, go to GeForce Mastermind on Instagram or geforcemastermind.com. You can even hang out with us, go on a trip with us. Our goal is to help you find your purpose, understand the little key differences so that you can be an even more powerful force for good in the world.